Thank you.
Okay, so can I start my presentation? Yes, you can. Okay, I'm like totally speaking from the heart about this because I didn't really prepare. I spent all night doing the slides for this yesterday. But essentially, I want to talk about our CUS vision. And there's the reasons why I want to talk about this today is really twofold. So the first is, and if I could get anyone to just like put their laptop down, it's kind of important to me. It's pretty twofold. The first is because, sorry?
Unless you're Skyping someone.
Yeah, unless you're Skyping someone. It's pretty twofold because this is probably going to be the only meeting where everyone's kind of here and people are in town. I know Alice is leaving, Matt is leaving. I'm leaving in a couple of weeks. So I think this is really important that we have this conversation. And the second one is because after the meet and greet, I kind of realized, wow, like we all have our individual goals. But as important as individual goals are, if there's no purpose behind these goals, what's the point of executing your individual goals? I realized that there's no glue that really holds us together. So that's kind of what I want to talk about. I want to talk about purpose today. What our purpose in the CUS is. But first, I'm going to start off with a picture. I'm going to start off with footprint. And I think a lot of you guys probably kind of get why this picture is there, but I'm going to say it anyway. So every year, the CUS turns over. And, sorry? Oh, okay. You're not as poetic as I am. But every year, the CUS turns over. And every year, a footprint is left behind. So whether this is a good footprint, like Birmingham being 24/7, or having Poits being CPA Hall, or it could be a negative footprint, like Frosh, for instance, or leaving a bad impression with faculty and staff or students. A footprint, regardless, is always going to be left behind. So what I really want you guys to think about is, what type of footprint do we want to leave this year? What's the legacy we want to leave behind? What do we want students to say about the 2015-2016 year? And what do we want students in 2017, 2016, 2018, or whatnot to say about this team? So that's kind of what I want you guys to think about. And I have two quotes for you. The first is about vision. The vision for the business is, at its essence, a set of objectives. It's a direction in which you and your team head, a direction in which you take the business. And the second one is about destination. So whatever the organization's destination, they must be seen and understood at all levels, included in every agenda, and woven into every business discussion and decision. And the reason why I choose these two quotes is because I want us to start thinking about the CUS as a business. I don't want us to start thinking about it as, oh, we're just volunteers, and this is a student society. I've thought long and hard about what it means to be in this organization. I spent the whole week thinking about this. And I realized that our organization is so closely similar to any Fortune 500 company that you can find. We have a board of directors who's elected by our shareholders usually. We have executives, the CFO, the CMO, COO, and we have our shareholders, which is typically our students. So why can't we start thinking about the CUS as an organization, as a real business? Because think of yourselves right now as the top executives and the top decision makers of an organization. That's kind of what I want you guys to think about right now, and why a vision is important. Because each organization, Fortune 500 or a startup, all have this one purpose, this one vision that kind of binds them together. It's called strategy. And you guys are all business students, so I'm sure that you guys get this idea. So kind of switching the tone of the conversation, I want to start talking about these three words that, has been seen throughout January. And these were my words. These were the words that I chose. But what I realized is that these words have different interpretations to all of you. So as much as transparency, unity, and involvement might mean certain things to me, what does it mean to you guys? These were the words that I was elected to by all our students. And I'm sure a lot of you guys, I've heard in some of your interviews that these were the words that resonated with you, and that's why you applied to be an executive. Or if you're a board member, these were the words that resonated with you, and that's why you haven't quit yet. Or I hope that's why you haven't quit yet. So think about these words and what these words mean to you. And I'm going to start talking about what these words mean to me. And I want us to stop thinking of these things as separate entities. I want us to start thinking about it like this. So instead of calling them platforms or platform pillars, I want us to start thinking about it as a building block. And yes, we're all about pyramids today. This is our sign, Illuminati. But going back to what I'm trying to say, and I feel like I'm in a TED Talk here. I'm totally in like business communication mode right now. But I want us to start thinking about it in a building block type of way. And the reason why I put it into a triangle like this is because transparency is what I believe is the first thing that we need to hit as an organization. And the reason why I put it at the top and it has a bigger base is because this is going to be the hardest hurdle that we have to face as an organization. Transparency is not just how we, like, you can interpret transparency in many ways. And it's not just how we act externally, but it's also how we act as a team. And how this transparency is to you, I don't know. But I can tell you right now that without transparency, you won't be able to hit any of those buckets. And the moment we have this transparency, that's when we can find unity. Because what unity means to me is community. It can be unity within our team. It can be unity within your own teams. And it can be unity with the school. So whatever your definition of unity is, we won't get that without transparency. And finally, the moment that we have transparency and that we have unity is then when we have involvement. And involvement can mean many different things. It can mean students participating in our events, the number of people that apply to our positions, the number of how high our percentage rate is for elections. But to me, what involvement means is a bigger thing. It means contribution to society. So the moment that we can hit transparency, unity, and involvement, that's when we can actually get students to want to contribute to society, to want to apply to those events, or to want to apply to those positions. Not because it's nice on their resume, but because they actually want to make a contribution to make the CUS better. And not just the CUS, but their undergraduate experience better because of the CUS. So I want you guys to think about transparency, unity, involvement in this type of framework. But when it all boils down to, when I think about these three words, I really thought long and hard about what are the common factors that make that, what are the commonalities of these words, and what it is trust. So if I look back, transparency is about trust. It's about making your information available, communicating with your team. It's about trusting. And the moment that we can have that trust is when we can have unity, when we can work with our partners and work together as a team as well. Because human behavior, we're not going to work with people that we don't trust. And finally, with involvement, that's trust too. If we don't trust this organization, our students don't trust us, how do they feel like, how are we going to make them feel like they feel comfortable enough to want to step out of their shell and to want to contribute to society? So think about trust. Now, I'm going to talk about our organization. So our organization, typically on paper, it looks like this. There's the students, there's the board of directors who are elected by the students, there's the executive council who's hired by the board, and we've got our service council and commissions who are essentially hired by the executive council. What I want us to expand our framework of how we see our organization. Because how we should actually see it is that there's more people, there's more key players in our organization. There's the dean and the dean's offices, UGO, the BCC, Sauder alumni, other faculty like building ops, marketing, etc. And there's the alma mater society. So we want to start thinking about it in this way. But not only this, we want to start thinking about it as an ecosystem. So instead of thinking of it as all separate entities in a hierarchical triangle structure, we want to start thinking about it as a circle, an ecosystem. And the one thing that binds all of these parties together is students. Without students, none of these organizations or parties would exist. And we're there to help the student experience. And whether that's students coming out of their own shell or academically or professionally, it all comes down to a mission statement. To enhance the value of the Sauder School of Business, whether it's personal, professional, or academic. And without these key players, none of those would be achieved. So that's why we need to think of our organization as an ecosystem. And now going back to the topic of trust, and the reason why I chose this word is because trust is not just something that we can build with our students right away. It's not something that we can build with faculty members right away. How we build this trust is within our team. And when I say team, going forward, I want us to start thinking of us as a team with the board and executive, not just as the executive and not just the board. When I say team, I mean both parties. So this is my little framework of trust. So first, in order to build that trust within our organization or outside of our organization, you need to trust yourselves. So to the board members here or the executives here who are too shy to speak up in meetings, or who don't think that they know enough, trust yourself that you're here for a reason. And trust yourself that you will do a good job this year. Because if you don't trust yourself, then this whole thing will crumble. And we won't find that trust within our team. And next, the moment that you trust yourself and that you feel comfortable talking in a meeting or contributing or having your own projects on the side, That's when we can find internal trust, and that's how the team can trust you. And there's little things that you can do every day to gain that trust from your teammates. It could be attending a meeting. It could be filling out a doodle. It's really easy. It could even be just respecting the fact that people have opinions. It's really easy to gain that trust. So the moment that we have a team, and it's not just you trusting the team, but it's the team trusting you, it's reciprocal, that's when we can finally get that external trust. So right now what I feel like is that our organization is so focused on the external trust of, how are students going to think of us? How are we going to execute on these 3 words? We need to have that internal and self-trust. And that's when we can hit the transparency, unity, involvement bucket. Okay? And the moment that we have that trust externally, that's when the students will finally trust us. And that's when we can finally execute our strategy on the outside. So we're going to have a group discussion today, but just hold off. I really want you guys to think about these words. What is your interpretation of our vision? So I've left my PowerPoint presentation pretty open-ended, and I focused more on trust than those 3 words. I'm really interested to see what your interpretation of our vision is to you, because that conversation is important. But not only that, but what is our end goal as a team? So what is our end point? As much as we have our own separate goals, as much as, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, but why? Why do we want to do this? What is the purpose? How can we actually see that we've made a change or a difference? If we achieved this, what is our end goal? And finally, how will you contribute to this goal? So what transparency or what unity or what involvement means to Taylor or VP Finance is going to mean completely different to Alex or VP Engagement. It can mean completely different for Daphne or chairperson or second year rep. I got it right this time. So really think about how you specifically will contribute to the goal that you think we should achieve as a team. What is your contribution to society? And finally, how do we measure our success? How many of you have written or tried to write your resume and you're like, crap, I don't have a good car statement. I worked my butt off all year and I have no tangibles. 202 has taught me to use context, action, result, but I don't have a result. I don't have numbers. So how are we going to measure that success? And whether you're a person that's sitting in this room that's intrinsically motivated because you want to do a good job this year and you want to make a change, or whether you're extrinsically motivated because you want to have a shiny badge on your resume, no matter which type of person you are, and I don't care which type of person you are right now, if you don't succeed as a team, you're not going to be able to meet your own agenda or your own objectives. So how are we going to measure our success? So before we have that discussion, and we're going to really think about these 4 questions that I'm going to ask, because we're going to have a go around and talk about this. I'm just going to dive into the accountability report. So I kind of touched on this on my report today. So these are the accountability reports. So I want you guys to really think about this before I leave, and I'm going to write one myself, and then they're all going to be accessible on a Google Drive so that we all know what each person's goals are. So the first is 3 promises to the team. And when you think back on that triangle that I had with the upside down pizza thing that I had, it starts with internal. So what are 3 promises that you will give to us as a team? It doesn't have to be about students. It doesn't have to be about anything. It could be, I promise that I will make at least all the board meetings except one. Or it could mean, I promise to not be so hot-headed. Or I promise to my team that I will host a social during the summer. It could be anything. And secondly, when we think about the external things, I want you guys to have measurables. I want you guys to think about your SMART goals. And I know it's like, oh my gosh, SMART goals, are we in elementary school? I know. But there's no other way that I can think of. If anyone has suggestions, let me know. But I think it's important to have these SMART goals so that people can keep you accountable. Students can keep you accountable. I can keep you accountable. And so that when you look back at the end of the year, did you achieve your SMART goals? Did you meet your measurables? Did you deliver? And finally, I want you guys to also think about a passion project. So what is one thing in this society, if anything, that you want to change, the footprint that you personally want to leave in this organization, what is your passion project? And each person should have one, because why are you here? And lastly, just because I'm curious, and I'm sure everyone else is here, it's just a laundry list of your other goals and your other projects. And it doesn't have to be SMART format. It's just literally a list of things that you want to accomplish. And you don't have to hold yourself accountable to these things, But it's nice so that other teammates can know what you're up to, what your goals are, what you want to accomplish, so that maybe these goals can actually come to fruition and that we can help each other. So some more admin stuff. Board members submit a progress report, so once per term to the public. So you're going to have this accountability report, and you're going to have it done by May 6th. And at the end of the year, for the board members, not the executives, each term, I want you guys to report back to students and to myself. Did you deliver? And if you didn't, it's okay. Just be honest. And what was the roadblocks that kind of prevented you from doing that? How are you going to change these goals? So at the end of each term, you're going to submit that to the public. For the executives, you're going to have quarterly reviews, and they're going to be once every 2 months. And I'm hoping that I can work with Raffles or Juvan to really come up with a rubric on what to expect. But basically, these reports are to keep you in check and to keep you accountable, but it's not just for me, it's for you. And as an executive, I really wish that I had a quarterly review, because I'm struggling to put car statements on my resume. Did I do a good job? I don't know. Did I meet my deliverables? I don't know. I didn't even write them down. I know I did a good job, but by how much? So it's not just for me, it's for you. And finally, you're not tied down to this report, because I understand that as time goes by, ideas come up and you change your mind. So you can update these per term. Just let someone know that you're updating them so that we know, where you're going. Does anyone have questions about the accountability report? Yeah, Rachel?
How for the second one, the SMART goals, external, how do we plan to present them?
Yeah, so they're going to be kind of a document. And last year and previous years, executives would have to write long reports of what they did. I don't want that at all. As long as we have good meetings and you guys have good updates, I trust you guys. I trust. So it's just going to be this one document that you guys need to do. So here's some examples for those who don't know what I'm talking about. And these are merely examples. These aren't mine yet. But I promise to the team. So mine could be, as president, it could be, I promise to always be accessible to my team by sharing my personal calendar and always reply within 24 hours. So that could be a promise that I make to the team. Another one could be, I promise to not let my stress or temper get the best of me, and always think before I speak or act. And it's good that the team knows that you've committed to this, because the moment that you step out of line, a teammate can just really come up to you and be like, hey, I noticed that you're working towards your anger and your frustration and how you manage your stress. How are you doing with that? I think that's really crucial. And for the board members or executives, this might not apply to you, but something as simple as, I promise to not be late to meetings. Yeah?
I was just wondering, this might seem obvious, but these are just internal reports, these wouldn't be shared with students?
The promise to the team, though, just the SMART goals for the board and the passion project.
Okay.
Yeah, the SMART goals are internal, all internal.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Okay? And then SMART goals. An example of a SMART goal that I could potentially do is I will ensure all CUS executives receive at least 80% for all their quarterly reviews by conducting small check-ins every 2 weeks to give feedback and ensure executives are on track with their objectives. So that could be my SMART goal. And what your SMART goals are, I don't know, but you guys will have them. A passion project could be the CUS internal Google Drive that I've been working on. And I'm pretty passionate about that. And when you write about your passion project, I want you guys to really write and think hard about it. Explain what it is, why it's important, how you plan to do it, and what support you need. And the last piece is really important because I want to be sure that the majority of your passion projects come to fruition. And you guys can't do it alone. So there's some people that might have the same passion project. Who knows? You guys can work in teams. And finally, other goals and projects. You would literally just put a laundry list, a redesigned website, commerce suite, condensed policies, live stream, town halls. And it's nice to, at the end of the year, to be able to cross all that out. So does anyone have any more questions about the accountability reports? Okay, great. I will send out a template later today or sometime this week. Yeah?
When you say end of the term, would be summer term?
So summer, basically, I want, great question. I forgot to mention this. For the board members, the ones that you submit to me are kind of like drafts, but still put a lot of effort in it. And during the summer, I want you guys to think long and hard about the passion project.
And that would be to
the public ones will be done at the beginning of the term in September. So they're going to be made public for the board members in September. Does that make sense? But you have a whole summer to really.
I'm confused. Can you say that again?
So basically, by May 4th, I want you guys, everyone, to submit a report to me, and I'm going to submit one for my own for everyone else. And then, like I said, you can modify it, right? So I want the board members during the summer to really think long and hard about how they're going to build their passion project. And in September, that's when we kind of make those public and they're kind of set in stone, and that you're accountable from then on, if that makes sense. And for the executives, you have your quarterly reviews. You guys can change it based on, you know, the reviews that we have. Does anyone have any more questions? You guys can feel free to shoot me a message and ask more. Brian?
You said end of term report, or now is it we release it at the beginning?
So you release this report at the beginning of the year, and then at the beginning of the term, and at the end of the term, you send another report about the progress, about what you actually accomplished, and why you might not have accomplished some things over the other.
For the passion project, what does it have to be? Can you just
Yeah, I can give more examples. So for instance, Debbie. I know Debbie's super passionate about sustainability. So her passion project would be making the school more sustainable. And it's up to Debbie how she wants to envision that. Maybe that's working closely with a conference, or that could be working with building ops to implement those water dispenser things in all the levels. Something like that. Or if you're passionate about, I don't know, makeup or something, and you want to host makeup tutorials with the school, that could be your passion project. As long as you're passionate about it, I don't really care what you guys put here, as long as you guys really plan hard to work accomplishing that. So now, I forgot this slide. Basically, I want to just kind of drill down to you guys. Don't underestimate your positions, because if you really think about it, our organization is the largest student business association or student business society in Canada. And I know right now for you guys, like, oh yeah, like I see that on the website, it's said all the time. But now that I personally have met presidents from other undergraduate societies, I realize that they don't have a fraction of the budget that we have. We manage $1 million as students. How many students can say that they've done that? How many students can say that they're accountable to 3,500 students at our school? I don't know about you, but if I was an employer and you told me in an interview that you helped manage a $1 million budget and you were accountable to over 3,500 people, not including faculty or staff or the dean, I'd be pretty impressed. So don't underestimate your position. You have the potential here to actually have this be a milestone achievement for you guys after you graduate. And I don't think a lot of the students are lucky enough or fortunate enough to be able to do that and have this opportunity. So don't let it go to waste. I've talked to so many board members who are like, oh, I wish I did this. I wish I did that. Yeah, I have board member on my resume, but I don't have anything to write below it. And it's not just about resume. It's just about life. You know, what's the footprint that you want to leave behind for school? So now going back to our discussion, and I don't know if you guys have thought about it yet, but let's go around and kind of talk about so when we go around, I want each person to just kind of hit these 4 buckets. What is your interpretation of our vision? What is our end goal as a team? How will you contribute to this goal specifically? And how should we measure our success? And it's okay, I realize that you only have a couple of seconds to think about this, that's why you have the accountability reports, but I kind of want to get the conversation